Okay, good morning and welcome to the session on Microsoft Tag. While everyone here is finding their seats, I'll just do a quick introduction for everybody. And I'll also do a quick reminder that there is a break room in the back. And so if you're looking for a quiet spot to have a conversation, just go ahead, wander in there. There'll be treats in there later on, cupcakes as a matter of fact, with tags on them that you'll be able to scan for entry into contest. Thanks, Nellie Moser, for helping out with that. And with that, I will start with introductions. So, to my left, I have Tom Baer, Vice President and Publishing Director of Golf Digest Publications. Marie Jones, General Manager, Digital Media, Allure Magazine. Dave Watt, Vice President and Publisher of Health and Health.com. And Amy Wilkins, Senior Vice President, Publisher of Martha Stewart Weddings and MarthaStewartWeddings.com. So we're going to start with presentations. They can't start till I hand them the clicker.
Okay, there we go. Any golfers in the room? Raise your hands. Passionate golfers? Do you guys recognize who's up on the screen there? Well, he's a 22-year-old that just won the U.S. Open, so our entire category is very interested. Thank you, Karen, and thank you, the MPA, for inviting me to speak today. A couple things. Microsoft approached Connie Nast back in fall of 2009. And talking about this new technology, this new Microsoft Tag technology, automatically we were smitten. We loved it for a number of different reasons. One, Golf Digest is the 11th largest magazine in the world. We've got 31 international partners. And the advantage we have through the international partners is they get to share information on emerging technology and trends that are happening worldwide. They had already been talking, specifically Europe and Asia, about these new 2D barcodes that were happening, so we knew that eventually it was going to come over here in the United States. Number two, one of the big reasons is that we're a service publication, and we really concentrate on three areas of content. One is where to play the game. Two is what to play, and then third is how to play the game, which was very important. Instruction is absolutely critical. Anybody who's ever played the game of golf knows how difficult it is to understand how to swing a club. You can give a lot of explanation, obviously, within the editorial pages, but by having an actual video that you could download onto your phone and then go ahead to a golf course or a range and actually use the video as you learn to get better or learn how to hit out of a trap or correct your slice that many of us have was invaluable. It led to a great reader, valuable experience. And then third is the research that we had shown over 60% of our readers had actually purchased a smartphone in the last 12 months. And the tag technology was available in over 280 smartphones out there. So automatically we knew it was a home run. First and foremost, what we did is we introduced the content. It was really an editorial feature for us. The readers of the magazine had to understand, we felt, and I listened to the other panelists before, we felt that teaching the readers on how to use the technology was absolutely critical. So Jerry Tardy, my editor-in-chief, in November of 2009, actually, this when we showcased the tag technology, I think we were the first major consumer magazine to introduce this. It was important for us to over and over educate the reader on actually how to use this technology. So we did it within the magazines, the mastheads, the editor's letter, and then throughout the magazine on every single feature that's listed, we actually started listing how to use the technology. Was it successful? Absolutely. And hundreds and hundreds of thousands of interactions later, we found out that not only was this a domestic phenomenon for us, but also a global. And if you see, this is actually a chart where we're able to chart exactly where these scans were coming from. This was important for a number of different reasons. One, for our advertisers that were certainly trying to expand their product, global distribution and global sales. They had a chance that there's another platform to ever get the message across globally. The scans for advertisers were also great in the fact that the real estate on an actual ad page is only so big. You show obviously copy, you show an actual ad, but now you got a chance, in like Callaway's case, to actually dive deep into the actual advertisement, and the videos that we helped them produce was all about where to buy the clubs, how to use the clubs, how they can benefit you in different ways. So again, it was a much more dynamic user experience. Also, these barcodes, which we thought was pretty cool, was that number one, you can actually use these codes to you can design them like the symbol of actual advertiser's product. So you can custom make these logos. They can be produced in different colors. They just stand out a little more, within the pages of the magazine. So again, a big hit for us. In fact, I thought this was so important that I've actually introduced it to my family. I haven't really got my wife to agree on this, but we're actually putting barcodes on our kids now so we can track them everywhere. It's Charlie and Lily. I promised they were good last night. I put them in my slide presentation. So
That was wonderful. Thank you, Tom. Marie, I think you've got some slides too. And a great fashion sense as well. We need to, it should come up, I think.
they're probably very happy that they're still up there.
So, can you hear me?
Yeah.
With Allure, we sort of followed, I think, initially in some of the best practices that were put forth by golf. But when we first started it, we realized that we had to understand how we could do this so that it was actually going to kind of advance the story and the reader experience and really engage readers and become a tool. And I think that was what was really successful for Allure. And also it was frequency, and you'll see that later, but we had 39 tags in the magazine, and that really impacted the results, obviously, in the end. But we also knew that we needed to train our readers, and so we did much of the same stuff. We introduced it early, and then this page here was sort of crucial, and we ran this page several times and also online. This program of free stuff started originally online, and one of our concerns was that the scan tags would cannibalize the online experience. But also what we knew was that if it worked as we thought it would enhance the reader experience and also give readers a chance to engage with the program wherever they were. So the mobile component could be really valuable. Because the program is a program that is based on giveaways, and there are about 7 giveaways a day for 4 weeks out of the month. It meant that people would have to be at their computers at a particular time to actually engage. So what this did after educating them was give them the opportunity to interact with the program wherever they were if they had a smartphone and had registered. So throughout the magazine, we had scan tags on every page where there was free stuff. And what that meant was that these scan tags on every page were actually SMS reminders. So once you had registered, you could scan and sign up for reminders for the giveaways. And that obviously, ultimately increased the entry numbers in the end. And we had actually really good response to the SMS. There were about over 300,000 SMS alerts that went out. And then finally, what we did in the back of the book on the calendar was to really sort of make it clear that people had 2 ways to win. If you weren't sitting at your computer, you could actually take this universal scan tag and tear it out, carry it with you, and wherever you were, it really became sort of a mobile experience you could tag. You could get your SMS reminder, and 50 minutes before, and then on the hour, you could scan to win. So ultimately, we ended up with about 450 scans, with 450,000 scans. What we learned was that it didn't cannibalize the online experience at all. It actually enhanced the program by about 38%. And also we had a great marketing conversion from it. We had a sponsor who included opt-ins and registration, and we had about a 34% marketing conversion, which was big, and we had about a 4% sub-conversion, which was also offered. And the trick there was getting these mobile pages to be simple. There were, as you can imagine, with 38 tags, an unbelievable amount of mobile pages that had to be built. But we had to keep them simple, but at the same time try to capture as much information as we could, both for ourselves and for the marketers.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Marie. Dave, you're next.
Oh, sorry, yes.
So in our experience was maybe a little different than some. We have some themes here that I think are consistent, which is a good thing. But with health, our decision was to use the tag strategy to enhance our one of our most popular issues of the year. It was our May issue, and it's actually Health's Beauty Awards. The Beauty Awards are where our editors and outside experts actually pick the top beauty awards in different categories. Our objectives overall for the tag issue, number one, is to enhance the fact that we have been doing this for 13 years. And, you know, we're certainly not the only magazine in our competitive set who have beauty awards. So we were looking for something that was a little different, something that would offer not only interactive content that strengthens the reader connection to both health and to the beauty awards, but also, I got to say it, develop an opportunity for advertisers, for those brands that won the award, to take advantage of that and leverage their win in a way that they'd never done before. We had a couple of things that we really wanted to do in terms of our strategy for the integration. A lot of this was based on knowledge we gained from Microsoft. We actually had some of the Microsoft people come in and meet with both our marketing team and our edit team, which was tremendously helpful, but also information we gleaned from some other Time Inc. brands who had taken advantage of the tag technology, most notably This Old House, who had done it in a previous issue. But one of the first things we did, and I'm going to get a little, a little specific here because I think it's important when you're putting together a program like this if you've not done it, was we had multiple tags throughout the issue. We didn't just have tags in the Beauty Awards part of the magazine. That's something Microsoft told us, have the opportunity for your readers throughout the issue in various ways, get involved in the tag technology. Some of it was through videos that we created, others was through contests that we had, and we also had a number of different slideshows that we took advantage of. The other thing is we really wanted to add value to the reader experience. Our editor, Ellen Kunis, said, I don't want to just rehash the fact that so-and-so brand won this award. I want to give our readers information, tips, ideas on how they can actually take that product and apply it in their beauty life. And so she was really wanted to do that. We all know from websites that came out of magazines that it doesn't work if you have the same content online as you do in the magazine. We learned that a long time ago, and we wanted to make sure that we applied that learning through our tags. We also wanted to create seamless product integration. I mean, we actually did have the winners in the videos from the experts who had picked them, but we didn't want to make it a talking head where they're just holding up a product. We made it very much part of the video so that it was an actual value to the reader. And then the other thing, and I think both Tom and Marie had said this, we really had to educate the reader on how-to instructions, make sure that they understood how to download the app and then how they would scan and access the content through the tags. And last is just really support the program via multiple promotional outlets, not just within the magazine, but through health.com, through our Twitter and our Facebook pages and various PR opportunities. And I think we did that pretty well. So just give you an example of what we did. This is some of the pages from the actual Beauty Awards section. You can see we had tags in the editorial near some of the winners. And again, those tags were videos that actually were a minute to, some in cases 2 minutes long, where we had the experts who had selected the winner and our editors talking about the winner, but also talking about some beauty technique or application that was consistent with what the brand was. And at the end of the videos was also an opportunity for our readers to take advantage of entering a contest to win. We started it off, kicked it off right up top in our editor's letter. Ellen talked about the fact that we have this tag issue and that readers would see it throughout the issue, and we had the 1, 2, 3, 4 very easy steps. And we also talked about that our cover subject, Miranda Lambert, did a behind-the-scenes video from the cover shoot. That actually was the most popular of all the tags that we had. We continued it throughout the magazine. Here's an example of how we applied it for our food. We had 6 different recipes of breakfast recipes for under 300 calories. That was a slideshow that we had. We had it in our, What I Love About, where we had celebrities talking about some of their things that they really love, their healthy products that they really love. We included that. We put it through our fashion coverage, look slim while you swim. We actually had women in bikinis talking about how they could lose weight, look great for the summer season. And then, of course, we had a promotional page that not only, again, reinforced how you actually use the tags, but also had our sponsors. And we had 5 advertisers who took advantage of it, incremental advertisers, both to the magazine and also to the issue itself. So finally, as I said, we used a lot of different ways to really tout the program itself. We have 1.3 million Twitter followers for health. That's a huge audience for us, great opportunity for us to get the word out. For our Facebook, 140,000 Facebook fans. And then we also used our PR machine to really get the idea out there.
Great. Dave, thank you so much. Amy.
Hello, can you hear me? I don't know about you guys, but I actually have already gotten ideas for how I'm going to improve the program we're doing in our next issue. So, and I know that my integrated marketing director, Laura Boberg, is taking those notes. She's sitting right over there, and you can have her. So what we did with Microsoft, actually, they approached us, I think it was the end of 2009, early 2010. We were working with Adam Schneider, who actually had come to us, I don't know, maybe 4 years before, and we had worked with him on SnapTel, which was image recognition technology. And I think we did that deal in about 20 minutes. This one might have been 30, but part of that was just because we wanted to really look through the nuances of how we should really build this program. So what we were doing is creating essentially a scavenger hunt. We invited 14 of our advertisers. They were incremental advertisers in the magazine in that particular issue, which for us, I don't know if any of you are brides or have any brides in your life, but they're crazy. And the fall season is when a lot of that pre-planning is happening. So it's a really important time for us to be in front of them because most girls actually plan before they even get the ring. They have the guy, but not the ring. So basically what we were trying to do is improve the engagement with the advertisements. And frankly, most of our clients, she's only going to have one dress. She's taking one honeymoon. So it's really important for them to get into the consideration set really early. And so any way we can get them to stop and take a look at those pages and interact with them, we've done something well. And for us, we were also looking at demonstrating that engagement throughout the book. You guys probably share with me the frustration of people thinking that nobody reads past page 10 or the first 10% of any magazine, when we know for a fact that they read the whole thing, cover to cover. And last, we were also really looking for ways to upsell them. So what we did was we included 14 advertisers in it. We explained clearly in a spread that we ran at the front of the magazine exactly how to do it. There were 3 steps to enter. And what would happen when you found these tags that were customized, which was one of the things we really loved about Microsoft, that you could customize the tag so that the girl they would begin to really recognize that tag throughout the magazine. And what would happen if you missed that entry slide is that you would actually be taken to a registration page that you would fill out, and then it would immediately redirect you back to that advertiser that you had just tagged. And we had 14 of them, as I said, and we also saw that they literally went front to back. One of the things that's really interesting that we learned was that they tag on Sunday more than any other day of the week, which is probably intuitive, but something that we found interesting. We also saw that they had to have a mobile-enabled page. Obviously, some of our clients, we literally talked a lot of people out of it. They didn't have a mobile experience, we talked them out of it. And they needed to also have a get, and it was better for them if the get was actually explained on the page. In many cases, clients were like, oh, we don't really want that tag on the page. Well, you know what, you need to put the tag on the page, and, you need to actually explain it, and it's better if they really understand what that incremental get is. They're more likely to tag. In fact, in places where we actually created advertorial pages for our clients, those work even better because we were really explaining the whole process all over. So the more you can do that, and I'm hearing that from other folks here, that the more you can put that information throughout the book, the better off you are. And I would say that also the get should really be something special and incremental, not just your mobile, not just your website in a mobile experience.
Super. Thank you, Amy. Now, I have a bunch of questions for this panel, and I feel so fortunate and delighted to have this group of experts here, because I hope to be able to dig in enough where you can kind of figure out for yourselves just how you might be able to use something like this, or why wouldn't you do something like this. But I want to try to uncover any obstacles or challenges that the group here has encountered and just how they overcame them, because I think that's part of key learnings back for the rest of the room. But to that end, I really hope to reserve a couple of minutes for questions. So if you've got some, jot them down, and I'll try to get them to them. So I'm going to start zipping through this. Guys, this is for the whole panel, basically. What challenges did you run into in trying to implement this technology? How did you overcome it?
I'll jump right in. Just bump right to your left. It was more internal. The editors got it. The one thing about our readers is that they're golf junkies. I mean, anything they can learn about instruction, they're gonna just gravitate towards. We had thousands and thousands of hours of video that we were able to provide our readers. I think probably the bigger challenge was working with our advertisers. A lot of them wanted to put up that standard 20-second or 30-second video or commercial. If the user has a bad experience with the tag, they're not coming back. They just won't. So you've got to really be able to help create custom content into that actual advertising message so that the reader ultimately gets they're getting something back from it.
So you're educating.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I would say the education process too, both with advertisers. One of the things, because video was a very central part of what we were doing, and it was content, editorial content. What we did is we actually created a sample video that we could show prospective advertisers who might be involved in it. That really helped tremendously. But the education also, frankly, of our marketing team, who had never done something like this. So they really had to come up to speed and learn. But I will tell you that, and they would tell you, it was really a great learning experience for them. They were totally jazzed by the fact that they were working on what is considered fairly new technology, and something different than that they were used to doing day to day. And that, you always want that for your people, if they can find something new and interesting to do.
We actually had to seek some outside help for our sweepstakes because our priority was quality over quantity. We didn't want girls to just tag one advertiser 100 times. We needed to make sure that she found all 14. And we also had to make sure that we were deduping from unique devices, and all of a sudden we're like, oh my God, and also just creating that technology that would allow for her to enter the sweeps if she missed the original tag in the front. So we actually worked with Nellie Moser. I know John was up here. They were a great partner for us just to help us with that piece of the puzzle.
I think for us it was resource-based, really. It was, the number of tags that we had in the book was, a lot. And from a magazine design standpoint, to the QAing of the tags and making sure that everything was going to work the way it should was a big part of it. And then secondly, justifying that time and expense and having to explain, to the powers that be that we were going to gain a lot of knowledge from this that we could use in a lot of different ways, which we have, not to mention the building of a database that's incredibly valuable. And also understanding what women are scanning and using that to even influence content decisions. So there was a lot of sort of forethinking about what the value would be, and that's all kind of come to light. And now that we're walking into August again, a lot of that learning is, going to come through in this. And again, I think the biggest part of it is the database and the information that we gleaned from where people are, what they're scanning, and then getting that information and being able to set the pages up so that we can reach out to them again.
Well, it sounds like it starts off being an experiment, and over time, as you use it more, it starts to become more strategic, because you're able to use that information. You guys did mention resources there a couple of times. If you could just speak to briefly about who did this internally within your organization and how much did it cost? Just ballpark it for people, because I think that's a useful context.
Okay, me again, right?
Oh, you know what? It's an open forum.
The cost to us, it wasn't a lot because we already had, as I said before, thousands of hours of video, so it was very easiest to process. Our sourcing people really were very important to us in terms of putting the actual the program together. So really, cost was not an issue.
Okay.
It was, the resources probably at the beginning were pretty heavy, because as I said, a lot of the team was doing this for the first time.
What kinds of people were doing it?
It was our marketing team,
Okay.
who was on that side, and of course the editors who were working to create the
Okay.
videos. So there was that video creation, and we actually had to do quite a lot of videos over a relatively short period of time. I think that, the cost wasn't huge, It was certainly far outweighed by the positive experience that we've given our readers, by the learning that we've gotten by this technology, by the fact that we were able to drive incremental ad revenue. I mean, the payout was about a 7-to-1 on the ad revenue versus the cost side, so it was really, really awesome. And we're going to do it again in our October issue for our food awards. We've already got a bunch of advertisers already signed up for that, so it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah, we also saw, for a financial benefit besides the advertising, but renewal rates
Oh,
were jumped up. And again, as we kept on giving a better, valuable reader experience, they realize they're opting in more for their higher subscription rates, and so.
okay, that's great. Did you guys have more to add on that? Because I have way more questions. Really? Okay. In terms of how do you measure success? What are the metrics that matter? What are the things you're tracking? What are the metrics that you get, but you think, yeah, that's not it. I don't need that information. I need this information. How do you make those decisions? How do you define success? And we can start anywhere you want on that panel.
I mean, for us, because it was an advertising promotion, it was, did we drive incremental business? And we did. So
Okay.
it was a home run from that perspective. We also wanted to look at the behavior of how she was reading throughout the book, and also what day of the week. I mean, we got all that kind of information, as well as the opt-ins, as you mentioned. It was great to be able to get them to sign up for more. So those were some of the things that we learned. And then, we also learned things that we need to do next time better, which is great. And, in terms of the resourcing, we pretty much were able to do it inside because we had someone who was really, really on it, wanted to do it. Big time, and then also reaching out to have somebody else assist with that, but taking the guidance from Microsoft and also Nellie Moser on how to do that. So.
I think for us, being told by Microsoft that we had the largest number of scans of any magazine was, all we needed. I mean, not that magazine people are competitive or anything,
No, but a million's a big number. Well, you guys have actually covered really well best practices, I think. I mean, you've discovered them on your own by putting lots of tags in and by doing a lot of reader education. What other kinds of best practices come to mind that you have kind of stumbled across that you think would be really valuable to know, if anything comes to mind?
Well, I would just say overall, and I think from hearing everyone talk, I guess we get this, but to me this would be kind of a watch out for everyone. These are only going to work for consumers if the content they're getting is valuable. I mean, if we just put crummy stuff up there,
Yeah.
after a while, people aren't going to scan these things. They're not going to be valuable. I mean, it's like, really anything we do. I mean, the content matters. And, we were really careful. We actually decided not to run a couple of videos because when we got them back, we realized that they weren't that good. And so, I would just say for everyone, if you're going to do this, whether you're an advertiser or whether you're a publisher, you really got to make sure that the content you have is something that consumers want. I mean, we see that in every form. They're very picky, and they should be, and they have a lot of different opportunities out there. So I would just make sure that everyone keeps that in mind.
Yeah, and I would say, our wish list obviously is let's say you come across a Callaway ad, you download the video, and what it does, it automatically takes you to an opportunity to learn more about the actual equipment, and then there might be some kind of, maybe it's a discount offer, maybe it's something within that tag or within that engagement that you actually go right to a Golfsmith, right to a Dick's,
Right.
and you scan it across their the register, and what incredible value you have. You learn a lot more about a product. You just got about 10-15% off of a certain product, and you walk away a very happy customer.
Right, and with the location-based data, you'd be able to even get an idea where that local store is. Exactly. So you've talked about how important that back-end experience is. I did hear some of the other panelists talking earlier this morning about the importance of UI and the UI design for mobile. At what point do you decide to go out of house for some of this stuff, or do you have digital resources in-house to help you when it comes to mobile experiences yourselves?
Well, Time Inc. has a huge studio that is just fabulous. But we actually, for this, and probably because we'd never done it before, we decided to go outside because we went with a company that was really good at creating videos, had done it for the tag technology before. And we just wanted to make sure that we were leaving nothing to chance in doing this, and I think that was important. And we did that in we did it with U.S. sweeps. They'd done back-end stuff like this. It allowed us to really focus on A, creating the content, and B, making sure we went out and were able to see advertisers and talk to them about the program and not have to worry about some of the other stuff.
Okay, and I was going to ask a couple of questions to both Amy, Marie. How do you work successfully with advertisers?
First, we had to make sure that they had actually a mobile experience that they could share, and we had to talk people out of doing it in some cases, because if they didn't have something that was additive, it was not a good idea. Even if we could get more business, it was not a good idea. So we really worked with them on that, and we actually in some cases had to help create mobile experiences for them. So we worked again closely with Nellie Moser, and in some cases other folks internally to make that happen for some of our clients.
It was really tricky for us because this was a complete editorial opportunity. So there was a sponsorship attached, but that was it. We sort of didn't allow anything beyond a sponsor logo on the mobile pages. But again, there were about close to 200 mobile pages ultimately, and the number of scans. There was great exposure, but we were very careful about sort of crossing those lines. And I think back to an earlier question that you had, that's sort of been, as we've approached this and everything that we've done digitally, it's about understanding, back to the content point, what's the best use of what kind of content where, and how are we reaching women where and when. And that's, I think, what made this successful, is it was less about more content and more about becoming a tool and a way for them to interact with the magazine, and it made the magazine actually mobile. Yeah. So it was a different sort of content experience, but it wasn't, it just wasn't extra content for content's sake.
Do you have any advice about how to work with editorial on this?
Editorial led the charge. I mean, for us,
okay.
it was.
So they got it right away, and they were happy to go.
Right away, and we wanted to be an editorial-led charge because it had to explain and educate the readers. If we went to an advertiser right away, and again, it was a bad experience, and readers didn't know how to use the tag technology, that, as I said before, then they would never come back. So we really had to work it within the editorial first.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask you one more quick question. Where do you think it's going? Where's the future? And then we're going to turn right to questions. So do you have any idea where the future of this is heading?
Well, hopefully with the greater penetration of smartphones, more and more people will have the readers, and it'll just be more accelerated in terms of how long it takes them to get on board and to adopt it. So short term, I think we have a great opportunity for growth.
And I think for us, it's, again, it's a matter of understanding, if the tags can be beyond the pages of the magazine, then that means the content can be too. So where else can we put tags outside of our magazine in order to reach consumers, whether it be in store and, retail and that kind of thing. So
extending your brand.
Yeah, exactly. And then also now we're, we had an internal debate recently about whether or not these tags in the August issue actually go into our digital magazine, because there was some debate about whether people are really going to scan device to device. And what we realized was that whereas in the print magazine, the SMS reminder tags, or the universal tag at the back of the magazine was really key because that was the entry tag, that with the digital magazine, it's the SMS reminders. So it's, I think a funny thing about the future of it is it becomes digital to digital.
Well, Are there any questions out there? Because I have no time remaining. I would take just one, or could I take just one or two questions, Howard? Or I could take one question, and you have to stand up and repeat your name. Not that that should make you shy or make it nervous for you. Or...
Hi, I'm Roy Walter with KPMG. So beyond 2D tags with tracking, what is the Microsoft program offering, and how has that been leveraged distinctly with these, with the magazines here?
I'm not sure if I completely understand your question, but the tag program, tag is a trigger type that is a 2D barcode, right? But it's a totally free tag. All the analytics on the back end are free as well. I'm not sure if that answers your question, but if...
Well, I'm curious how they're leveraging, I guess, the tracking data and whether it's being shared with your advertisers.
Oh,
How
that's really
transparent
your
is
question.
that,
There we go.
and how else are you leveraging the back-end data?
We are sharing information. Obviously, you can't give specific names for privacy issues. But it was really been important for us is the fact that globally, in terms of where the people are actually downloading from, and I think that what we found with advertisers starting to look at either custom creative based on a region or maybe higher sales efforts in certain region as they were finding they were getting more exposure throughout the globe.
We shared results with all of our advertisers, so we gave them how they performed, and then we gave them how they performed versus the average for the issue. And we wanted to make sure, too, that we had all different categories represented, because some of them did perform a little differently. And then we also shared, not who did best, but some of the best practices with each of them, so they know what should they do next time to improve the engagement.
Yeah, and we did what Amy said. We also had an opt-in opportunity where those who entered the sweepstakes also opted in to be part of our marketing database where they could, so that helped us build our database and get us even closer to those consumers.
Well, I hope you'll join me in thanking this fabulous panel. They've done a terrific job. Thank you so much.